Welcome back to the channel, everyone. Manny B Investing, MBI. And if you haven't seen on Twitter, if you aren't following MinSwap or using MinSwap, you've noticed that they've been up, but there's some features disabled, like farming. It was a little slow the other day. Well, they went into a kind of a maintenance mode because there was a vulnerability in the software in the contracts discovered by another DEX, actually. So they've done the postmortem and released this blog post. So I just figured I'd go over it. They're talking about TLDR, but hey, there's a lot of information, so I'm going to be reading here. So if you're not into long reads, then just check my Twitter. I'll probably be posting about it, talking about what happened. But yeah, the MinSwap team was notified of a critical vulnerability that would allow someone to drain all the liquidity in the smart contract. After putting safeguards in place to prevent this, the team used the same vulnerability to migrate all liquidity for all users to a new secured contract with a patch. It's interesting. I guess they utilize the exploit to their advantage to move things to. That's interesting. So a vulnerability was discovered, and then the team, they kept everything running, but they used the vulnerability and basically took all the money out and put it in a secure contract that didn't have that exploit. That's funny. All positions, including liquidity provisions and staking, remain intact for users. The boost for those staking Min ADA with the LBE NFT has been extended 2 days. We explain in detail the further steps forward below. After having open sourced our smart contracts and audit report on March 22nd, we were alerted to a critical vulnerability in our contracts. Upon learning of it, we confirmed the vulnerability and successfully reproduced it on the private testnet. As a result, and given the currently batched on our DEX is done. What? That currently the batching on our DEX is done. Okay. By the MinSwap team. We decided to immediately censor all orders to prevent this vulnerability from being exploited and start focusing on a solution. At the time of writing this, the vulnerability has been patched and all funds are safe. All users retain their positions from before we went into maintenance mode, including staked LP tokens and farms, the accumulation of Min rewards during the time for doing so. In addition, as we announced earlier, the NFT boost for those providing liquidity in the Min ADA pair will be extended 2 days until the 25th of March. LP tokens that are airdropped to users based on a snapshot, and over 40% of the LP tokens have been migrated as of now. Please follow our Twitter for further announcements regarding the migration and opening of trading. Below, we explain in more detail the vulnerability and our steps forward. We understand and take seriously the responsibility to explain as thoroughly and transparently as we can, especially since the Cardano DeFi ecosystem is still in its infancy. So we're going to be looking at the vulnerability explanation. The critical vulnerability consisted of the possibility to mint duplicated pool NFT tokens and use those NFT tokens to mint infinite LP tokens of any pool. Interesting. I think that... So I wonder, did Twig catch that, or is this a feature that they built after the audit was finished? And if so, will they learn, and not only MinSwap, but all the other projects learn to launch what was audited and not make changes before getting into their audit? And will these audit firms allow projects to add features and then maybe give them a discount, or will they charge them for another audit? That'd be interesting. Very interesting. I don't know what the culture is around that, but I'm sure they want to get paid for their time, so I guess. But I think in the interest of just safeguarding people's funds, it's a little bit more important, right? Who knows? We'll see. After putting in the appropriate safeguards in place for this attack to be impossible to be executed, we found the best solution to be to write a smart contract that patched this vulnerability and use the same vulnerability to migrate all the funds to the new smart contract. So all users would retain their positions. So in order to conduct the migration, we use the exploit ourselves to drain all the liquidity, then create liquidity pools on the new contract and airdrop new LP tokens back to users based on a snapshot we had taken of their prior positions. We feel it is important to clarify that the MinSwap team cannot migrate liquidity at its own will from one smart contract to another. Liquidity was migrated to the new smart contract because a vulnerability was discovered that would allow this to happen, and it was migrated precisely to avoid this exploit from happening. So in a bizarre but fortunate turn of events, the vulnerability in the exploiting it made it possible to migrate funds to a new upgraded contract where this vector was patched. That is funny. Sadly, neither we nor our auditors, Tweeg, noticed this bug before implementing the smart contract. That's weird. So migrating the liquidity was the only solution. Now that the fix has been implemented, it is no longer possible for the MinSwap team to unilaterally move liquidity. During the security upgrade, we were notified of 3 additional less severe vulnerabilities that could lead to misuses by the batcher or owner, aka admin, agents regarding pool parameters and data manipulation. We have addressed them as well. Although batchers are trusted agents, we believe making the batching process as trustless as possible and removing these vulnerabilities will help moving to a more trustless context in an appropriate way, in turn increasing infrastructure security. Resolution plan. While we were able to update our smart contract to fix the vulnerability, we're implementing additional security measures moving forward to provide additional protections for user funds. For added security, we have decided to temporarily make new pool creation permissioned. This is undesired in terms of decentralization, but it helps us make sure pool creation is well formatted and avoid duplicate pools by accident or malice, and give more safety control if vulnerability discovery were to happen again. In MinSwap DEX V2 or version 2, with the help of upcoming hard forks and ledger updates, we are going to move into a more decentralized and trustless model. We'll be releasing our formal process for pool creation in the coming weeks. In an effort to strengthen security, we are immediately entering a continuous audit and code review process with the new top Haskell security firm. Interesting. The change to the code that was implemented for our new contracts was small, without any known dependencies. Given the lack of experience any firm has conducting audits on production-grade Plutus dApps, we feel this process is appropriate moving forward. It is fortunate that the issue was discovered promptly and no funds were lost during this process. We are building in a very young ecosystem, and there aren't yet many security best practices and tooling for developers or auditors. We strongly believe events such as these make MinSwap and the Cardano ecosystem stronger and more resilient moving forward. We're also deeply grateful for the support and patience of our community as we learn, build, and grow together. All right. I definitely had questions about like Tweeg and all these other firms that are Haskell Plutus. Like what are they basing this stuff on? How many hacks are there? How many exploits are there? What have they found so far? And I did have an understanding that this is new. This is all new. And if you were on the Paribus live call, or if you've watched the recording, which is on my page, go check that out. I talked in the live town hall about the MVP and how it's all new and that things will break and that there's issues with software because some people seem to believe that this stuff is perfect, and when it launches, it's all perfect and everything is going to be great. That's not the case. This is all new. This is a new industry. This is a new platform on Cardano, especially the Haskell stuff. It's all new, but it's awesome that they were able to discover that and get it fixed. In the coming weeks, the team will publish an additional in-depth article further explaining the security vulnerabilities discovered. We plan on holding an AMA along with other community engagement sessions to answer questions address concerns, and provide additional clarity. The team is currently working tirelessly with complete focus on relaunching the DEX in an upgraded and secure form. Open source. While the open sourcing of our contracts exposed a vulnerability, we believe that the long-term benefit of open source development outweigh potential risks. Growing and strengthening Cardano's technical community and scalability of decentralized solutions and accessibility for future builders to deploy innovative applications are all benefits of an open ecosystem. Moving forward, MinSwap will release its new contracts in the near future once specific processes and benchmarking is complete. We've got an acknowledgement here. We would like to thank the Wing Riders team for their help in notifying us of these vulnerabilities. The Wing Riders team have been compensated with a bug bounty from the DAO Treasury, as is standard in such situations. That is pretty dang cool. Wing Riders, another competing DEX, found exploits and have notified the team and worked with them, and they got it fixed. Now, if that doesn't take us full circle from the video that I did on MilkySwap talking about just that, how these DEXs on Cardano are not engaged in a war. They're actually complementing each other and helping each other, as we see here. So now you people that say that I don't know what I'm talking about and I'm just running my mouth, you have your evidence right there. I do get things right often. But this is cool stuff. Am I fearful? Not fearful. Would I be fearful if I was investing like millions and millions of dollars? Yeah, I think I would be. But honestly, especially in America with the SEC and the DOJ kind of starting to get their hands from under their bottoms and actually do work and track down these people, these hackers, these money launderers, these fraudsters, and actually bring them to justice, I think it's going to be a better thing for everyone. So when people talk about regulatory clarity, this is a part of it. The SEC, the DOJ, the United States government, they're evil. In a sense, yes. But we do need them. We need them to do their jobs. That's what we need them to do. We don't need them to pass judgments. We don't need them to push us around and tell us what to do with our money. But what we do need them to do is to fight crime. What we do need them to do is to investigate and bring evildoers to justice. That's what we need from our government agencies that are involved in protecting investor interests. That's my opinion. What's yours? Let me know how you think and feel. Get in that comment section, drop a line, hit that like, share the video, and hit subscribe. And you know what? We'll see you on the next one. Peace.